All right, we are live. Hello, everyone watching out there on the interweb. I'm super excited to be joined by Michael from Kitchinsider. Today, we've been announcing this for a couple of weeks, and it's just been a really, really amped up and looking forward to our chat today. We've got a lot of questions coming in from you, the viewer, and of course, that if you're watching this at any time in the replay, please leave your comments and questions down below. We'd love to hear from you. And we're going to get started. I'm going to let Michael introduce himself. We're going to chat for a little while. I put out a community post a little earlier in the week asking for ideas of what we can talk about. So I have these in front of me. We're going to chat through these ideas, and then we will take some time and hopefully we will go through some questions that you have online. And we have some rapid fire questions that we're going to fire at each other that we haven't rehearsed. We haven't rehearsed any of this. We're just going to chat and have a good time doing that. So hopefully, I'm glad you're coming on. I see Ivy's here already. Hi, Ivy. It's great to have you on. Thanks for being here. And we're going to get going. So, Michael, introduce yourself and tell us who's the Kitchinsider.
Well, hi everyone, and hi, Mark. Thanks for having me on. Like I said, we did one before, and that was really good fun. So I've really been looking forward to this one. It should be good fun. Who am I? Good question. Like yourself, I'm a kitchen designer and a kitchen design YouTuber, I guess. Now, I wouldn't say it's not my full-time job. It's something I try and do on the side, along with kitchen designing. And I also have a kitchen design website that I created a couple of years ago. Kitchinsider.com, hence the name. That's where Kitchinsider comes from. Kitchen Insider, mushed it together. Kitchinsider.
I like it.
And yeah, so I write about all kinds of kitchen design related stuff, technical things, layout things, everything you can think of, and just to try and kind of get some information out there for people who are having a new kitchen, want some advice, want a bit of information. Hopefully it's like a good resource for people. And so, yeah, I write for that as often as I can and just keep growing the website and keep doing as many YouTube videos as I can. Same concept, it's just to try and help people have a bit of fun with it. But yeah, that's it. So that's Kitchinsider. That's me.
Cool. Awesome. And tell us, where are you sitting at? What part of the world are you at?
Currently in my living room in the sunny UK. So the other side of the world tomorrow. I suppose not too far. It could be further. So it's just gone 3 o'clock in the afternoon here.
3 o'clock. Okay. Are you going to like any of the Jubilee concerts or anything like that? No, you don't care about Queen. What's going on?
Everybody gets. If you're working, you get 2 days off, which is nice. But because I work for myself now, I don't get any days off. Or I get every day off. Depends how you look at it.
Right. Well, that's one thing we have in common. Canada is part of the Commonwealth, so
Right. Do you get the holidays? Do you get the 2 days as well? How do you?
No. We just get to watch on TV all the stuff. I mean, if you're interested, some people could care less, but
yeah. No, I understand. Yeah.
I think it's interesting. I think it's pretty interesting phenomena that there even is a queen. So pretty cool. She's on my money. So pretty interesting though. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on, but there's a great big concert happening. Duran Duran's going to be there. Diana Ross is going to be there. I don't know who else.
So I've not kept tabs. I'll be honest. Maybe I should.
Oh, there you go. See. Barbara's here. Hi, Barbara. Good morning. I love the green shirts. Yeah, you see that? I was thinking of you there, Barbara, on that one. I wonder why I did that. Very cool. Jeff's here from Kentucky. Hey, Jeff. Thanks for coming on today. Cool. Yes, you made it. You caught this one. And oh, cool. I'm in my kitchen prepping food for hours. Love it. Awesome. All right. And Gammy saying, welcome to Cape Breton live. Yeah. We're in Cape Breton. So
nice. Thank you.
A lot of our places are named after places in the UK. Like we have Inverness, like New Waterford, places like that. So a lot of that going on. All right. And Kelly's here. Hi, Kelly. Okay, so we had some questions, Michael. I'm gonna go through these and we'll just chat about these as we go, and then we'll see how that progresses. Of course, if anyone's watching and you have a question, put it in the chat. We'll try to sift through those if you have something that you want us to touch on, talk about, or get an opinion on, and we'll go from there. So the first one's from Darlene. Darlene's a regular on the channel. I appreciate everybody who comes on. So her question, her comment question is, I won't read it word for word, but the gist of it is, as a designer, you like, there's technology and trends and all this stuff is always progressing. And so how do you basically stay on top of it so that when you have a kitchen, like a finished kitchen project, like the next latest greatest thing is like already out? It's like you have an iPhone, but the new iPhone's already coming out. What are you supposed to do? So in the world of the kitchen, how do you find that an issue, first of all? And if so, like, how do you process that, all the stuff that's happening, especially on the maybe technology side of kitchen, or even just trends? Do you number one, I guess, find that an issue, or how do you think about that, like staying on top of what's always coming down the line?
So I don't think that's as big of an issue here, at least. Well, I understand, like I totally get, like, yeah, as soon as you buy that iPhone, the new one's out the next week, right? And it's
Right.
that, when do you pull the trigger if the new thing is just around the corner? But that's always going to be there, so that's always, you can't ever get around that. But what I would like, appliance technology definitely moves on, and we see new stuff. Like, it's not as quick as other technology, like phones and laptops and things like that, right? We're still using the same kind of appliance technology. Yeah, we get some new functions every now and then, but I don't think any of them, or that, none of them are completely game changing every few months. So I think maybe things move a little bit slower with kitchen appliances, so less of a worry there. And then I suppose trends is maybe what people worry about. So colors of things is probably the biggest one there. But again, I think there's staying power in a lot of choice in a lot of things if you are worried about that kind of stuff. Or if you don't care, go for whatever you want.
I agree. Like, it hasn't been an issue as far, like, in my experience. Most people, when they do get their kitchen finalized or installed, there's quite a span of time before there's this new, like, trend that's really taking over. Because I find it takes a long time for a particular kitchen trend to really become a staple and not just a fad. Because you can't call the color of the year a trend. It doesn't make any sense. Like, a trend is something that people are gravitating towards and consumers are purchasing. So it's fun and it's cute that there's a color of the year, and there's green, and there's blue, and there's purple, and whatever. But the fact of the matter is, like, if you're basing your decision on that, like, you probably will be disappointed. So, like I said, just get what you like, and it's got that staying power. So I don't actually see it like as an issue.
No, like, yes, I
one to worry about
that quick.
Because, like, in terms of a kitchen, like, people have kitchens for decades,
right?
And there's other things you can do interior design wise, I guess, maybe to go with the flow of what's happening currently. But the kitchen itself, as long as it's functional and working, I think you're good.
Yeah, that's definitely, you can update your kitchen with little things. If there's major changes, to appliances or trends, like there are little things you can do to change, paint the wall a different color, like that kind of stuff will help if you're worried about that.
Yeah, there are a lot of choices out there too. It's amazing. Like, when I was selling kitchens in an actual showroom, we had this wall of doors, and it's like, you only ever really sold two. You sold shaker, and you sold a raised, square panel door. We called it classic. And every once in a while, you'd sell this other one that had a little bit of extra trim, or maybe you'd sell a slab. There's a lot of choices, but a lot of people gravitate just towards these, couple of items, and so it's just interesting how that works. So has that been your experience? Do you find that?
Yeah, I've worked for different companies over the years, and companies like that where we would have a wall of doors, right?
Yeah.
Every door loads of different styles, every combination of colors, finishes, textures, whatever. And it's that what is it, that paralysis of choice?
Yeah.
And you could see it. People were just didn't know what to do and were worried they were going to pick the wrong because there was too much choice.
Yeah. Right.
And then the other way, I worked for a company where we sold 4 different kitchens. So that was it, 4 different styles. You could have them painted differently. But that was it. Like 4, and the differences between the doors were only subtle as well.
Right.
They were kind of a classic solid wood kitchens, and so much easier. People loved it. It was like, okay, out of these 4, I like that one the most. Easy to see.
Right.
Easy,
yeah, that's really good. Yeah, the wall of doors is like, it reminds me of that carnival game where you just throw a dart at a balloon. Like, just pick one.
Yeah.
Just a door. Awesome. All right, let's go to the next one. Karen Gilmore asks this question: the no wall cabinet trend. How is this practical? Is it practical? Is it not practical? What do you think about having a kitchen with limited to no wall cabinets? And I'm not even open shelves. I mean, just nothing.
Just nothing.
Yeah. What's your thought on that?
Yeah, I was thinking about this before. Some of my answers are going to be the classic, and I wonder if I should get it printed on a T-shirt like yours. So I'm just going to go, it depends. It depends. It really depends. No wall cabinet. Do you need the storage for one? If not, then it can be a great option, especially if it's maybe a slightly smaller kitchen to help like that light come in and make it feel less claustrophobic. It's a definite trend, if you like, at them. I'm seeing way more of these types of kitchens come up in all the the images and stuff we see online.
Yeah.
How practical? Again, it depends on who you are. I mean, yeah, like I say, if you don't need the storage, if you don't like reaching up, if you can't reach up certain wall cabinets, and they're not super practical for you anyway, then great. And like I say, it helps get light in. If you want to put some like sconces on or something, that seems to be popular again in a minute. Even if there's no open shelves or not open shelves.
Right.
But then, on the other hand, if you need the storage, if you're taller like myself, I quite like wall cabinets because that's a go-to storage place for me. It's the right height for me. So, not an answer, is it? It depends.
It depends. It does depend. I'll remind everybody that we didn't rehearse these. I only to glance at them. So, my thought is, again, yes, it does depend on what your needs are and what your design style is. Maybe sometimes not having a wall cabinet isn't the right choice for you. So regardless of if it's a good trend option or not, or design style, it might not be the one that works the best because you do need that extra storage. On the other hand, maybe you don't, and not having them, like I said, can open up that space a little bit. So I kind of like the trend because I just think it pushes the envelope a little bit away from what's so traditional. Because all my life, you would never think of not putting a wall cabinet in a kitchen. Like, that wouldn't be thought of. That wouldn't be anything that we would consider. And in fact, from almost probably 100% of the people that I would design a kitchen for, if I gave them back a draft that didn't have any wall cabinets, it'd be like, well, you didn't finish it. Like it should have wall cabinets. But really, like if it's more of a functional issue that you can't reach them, or you can use drawers, or maybe utilize pantries in a better way.
Exactly.
I think it's a pretty interesting choice. I like it. I don't know if, like myself too, I'm not sure if I would commit to it 100%, but
yeah, same.
I
It
like
depends
the
on your
idea.
kitchen, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Depend on the space that you've
like
got,
the idea.
if it works for it.
That's a good question, because it is something that's out there and you see more and more of. these
And it
kitchens
looks lovely.
very
It
minimal.
could look great.
Yeah, really great.
Especially
And
with
I
an
actually
extra
did a
tall
few
upstand.
designs. Pardon me, go ahead.
Especially with an extra tall upstand, that
Yeah,
look, and
yeah,
then keeping it
yeah.
open above.
Open above, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I've done a few for clients online that didn't want any. I was like, oh, this is going to be fun. The wall cabinets. It's like a less stress, don't have to think about it. Don't have to worry about those, making them balance and being symmetrical. Takes all that out of the picture. So very cool. Some people are coming on. Thanks so much. I see Jeff's here. Hey, Jeff. And Darlene, you're late, but we got your comment earlier that you posted. Thanks so much. And Helga from South Carolina. Really cool. You guys are here early because, this is early for some of you. I understand. So I really appreciate Ma or May, I'm sorry if I pronounced it wrong, is here. Good morning. Good morning. And if I miss somebody along the way, forgive me. We'll try to get you as we go. So it's really great that you're coming on. And GB, we have no kitchen wall cabinets, previous owner's choice. We're hurting for space. So there you go. Not the trend for you. Interesting, though, how it was good enough, like not good enough. It was the right decision for someone else.
Yeah, that's true.
And not the right decision for the next owner. Like that happens a lot. And so it's important that when you design a kitchen, you design it for you. The next person's probably going to have to do something different anyway. So it's that was really interesting. All right, let's go to the next one, and then we'll come back to the question. So this is from JL. Is the waterfall edge of today the thing that will end up negatively dating a kitchen in the future? Think avocado oven, orange carpet, pink bath tile, things people don't like now that were popular trends in the past. So waterfall edge, I think it's going to be like, ooh, that kitchen's from the early 2020s.
Waterfall. As in just, the waterfall countertop.
Waterfall,
coming down to the floor, right?
Yeah.
Just checking it's the same across the pond.
Good point.
Is that gonna?
Hard to know, right?
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no.
No.
I don't think that particular design feature is going to be like that polarizing. I think it's
not
going to
popular
be
enough.
Yeah, it's just a feature, right? I think the color of your countertop and possibly the choice of material and the color of your cabinets, those are the things that we're gonna be like, oh, that's
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think that's a big enough thing.
No, because one, it's kind of rare-ish overall, and I think just other things that are more predominant will date your kitchen, like your door style. Your door style is going to date your kitchen. Like shaker doors is still very popular, and maybe in 20 years we'd be like, what? Why would you be going with a shaker door? That's so old. Good question, though.
The cathedral, did you do those as well back in the day?
Oh, yeah. We called them Queen Anne. They were called Queen Anne doors.
Queen Anne. Nice.
Queen Anne, yeah.
That dates in like a kind of oak finish or something. Or
oak, natural oak.
Yeah.
Natural oak, Queen Anne, with cathedral style. Yeah. Raised panel. And even we would do a recessed panel, cathedral, which was horrible looking.
Did you do it with the lines through as well in the center?
Oh, yeah, we've done that. Yeah, with like a beadboard line. Yeah, not as often, but that shape. But that shape, that was a popular shape. That was the shape. And then you do that on the top, and you do square on the bottom. That was popular as well.
Oh, I didn't do that. No, I just had that all over. This is when I first started, though.
Yeah, we do both of those. And then, of course, on a narrow door, like you get a 9-inch door. It's horrible.
That's very true.
So, but that's what people like, right?
Yeah, that's it. And is that going to be the shaker in 20 years?
So that might be the shaker,
right? I don't know.
Down the line.
Yeah, you just don't know, right?
Yeah. We'll see. Interesting. Yeah, I don't think it'll be waterfall.
No, I don't think that's a strong enough thing. Like it's just a design element, right?
Yeah,
Not a big
I
enough.
think so. Here's a question from Matthew coming in here on the chat. Let's look at it. Hey Matthew, which looks will stand up to the test time better? Say stained wood or glazed? Glazed. So I'm guessing like painted with a glazing over it.
Oh, I see. I'm trying to think of I don't think I've done a glazed really. That's not so much a thing. So I'd say, well,
popular
stained, I guess, by
here
default, but
a while ago.
yeah.
Popular here, probably in the early 2000s. I think stained wood will never be something that's totally out of style.
No, because there's so many options. That's the thing. Like,
Yeah.
whatever.
To me, glazed cabinets just already are like, ugh,
right.
dated. But stained wood, I think, always looks great. I mean, hardwood flooring is stained wood.
Right, exactly.
And it looks fabulous almost all the time. So, yeah, that's a good question, Matthew. But I think stained. In where you're at, like in the UK or in that area, is stained wood a popular choice right now? Or are people still in painted or thermoplastics? Like what's the real popular choice overall?
I mean, it's still a whole mix. But I'd say we're moving more, not that it's gone away, but more into the stained wood
Okay.
and painted
Painted.
and two-toned, a mix. I think that's
Okay. Yeah.
that's the thing moving forward at the minute is a painted and wooden kind of two-tone look, which I think looks great. So,
Yeah, I'm glad that there's wood back in the kitchen. For a long time it was just
yeah.
all painted. You know, and natural woods too, not just stained with a color, but just natural woods are really becoming popular.
That's it. Yeah.
And
For a long
high
time
gloss too. High gloss is becoming
I'm
popular
not
with
seeing as much high
woods.
gloss. That's interesting. Yeah.
You'd think it looks like, you think about that and you're like, oh, but it actually looks really great on like a slab or something like that. So you got to think, because when I think of stained wood, I'm like, oh, I think of that cathedral style door.
Right.
So right away, my brain's like, no, stay clear.
Yeah.
All right, next question is from Sleep Forever. One large sink versus basically a dual sink, so a 50-50 or a 60-40 or 70-30 split. What do you think? What's your preference? What are your thoughts on sinks?
Preference?
Yeah.
One large sink.
One large sink?
One large sink. Thank you very much. Yeah. Yeah, that's my thing.
Me too.
Yeah. I understand people that like the little half drainer or whatever. That's what they used to. That's their flow. Like, cool. That's what, For me personally, one good size sink that I can fit a tray in properly. I don't need a side thing. Don't use it.
Yeah.
I
think maybe the only time I would go with that is if I was going with a workstation sink that was like extra, like 54 inches. So that's over.
We need to get the converter.
So it's over 3 meters, right? 3 meters? No, 36.
That's massive.
That's too massive. What am I trying? A meter. What's a meter? A meter is
36 inches. Oh gosh, we're terrible at this, aren't we? Someone in chat will get there quicker than we will.
Yeah, I know. Look it up. What's a meter?
1 meter in
36 inches.
39 inches.
39 inches. Okay, so
39.37.
So so over a meter.
Over the sink. Over a meter.
It's over a meter. So I think in that case, if it's a workstation sink that's over a meter, I think it's like you can get them like 54 inches. They're massive. Normally have 2 faucets. You could have like one huge partition and another huge partition. So maybe that would work. But other than that, I'm just a fan too of just a single large sink.
Yeah.
Because I've had both and I like the single better. So
yeah.
And I do the dishes. Like I'm the sink guy. So it's not like I'm saying that and someone else does all that stuff. Like I'm the person with my hands in the sink, and I much prefer a single. So
Yeah. Agreed.
Jeff has a question. Thoughts on induction ranges? Let's go on. What do you think? Induction.
Spoiler alert! This is a thing for you later, Mark.
Okay. All right. We won't touch it. We'll keep going.
Okay.
We'll get back to that one, Jeff. It'll come up later. Okay. Okay, let's get back to these ones. This is from DB. Decorating for now versus the future. How do you think ahead and when not to? I'm not sure about personally decorating because I'm not a decorator, but let's say designing for now versus the future. How do you think ahead?
As
What are your
in
thoughts on that?
as in styles or as in practicalities? Like,
Well, let's go
aging
practicality.
in place, in that
Yeah.
case, I'd be looking at drawers.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe no wall cabinets, like if that's the thing.
Right. Yeah.
Being that little bit more mindful about what's going to be easier going down the line. So it might not be so popular here is the like a handleless, but it's not a true handle, like a J-pull handle. I don't know if you call them the same. Sometimes they're not very deep. They can be quite difficult to open.
Right.
Or particular handles that aren't easy to grip. Things like that. I know older clients are very much aware of. And these are things that we work through and think about this usability down the line. If it's style, then we kind of talked about that, haven't we?
Yeah. I'm doing a kitchen for a client now, and the idea is they want it designed in such a way that they age in place. But there's a point where, their thought is, well, what if I need a walker or what if I need a wheelchair? But there's a point like designing a kitchen for a wheelchair is a totally different thing than almost anything else. And until you're in that position that you need a wheelchair, I'm not convinced you should design your kitchen to be wheelchair accessible necessarily.
No, not fully, not like custom stuff for that. I suppose it's looking at maybe walkway space, giving yourself more space than you would otherwise kind of normally do. But going full custom for a wheelchair, like you said, that's a complete design by itself, right?
Yeah, that's a big deal, really. And the two are really different. Like a kitchen for wheelchair accessibility and everything else is really really quite different. So I think it's important to think ahead, but you have to keep it usable for you now, and if that does happen down the line, you're probably into getting it redone again. Unless you're going to be in a wheelchair, then maybe that's a different story. Yeah. Have you ever? I don't know if we chatted about this before. Have you ever heard of or seen Blum's aging suit? It's
I don't think so. Unless it's
they made this. They made a suit. I actually had opportunity to try it on, and it basically ages you. Like it mimics like arthritis in your hands and your knees and your back, whatever. It does all this so that they can kind of process what it's like for people who do have some mobility issues or disability issues or accessibility issues, and it's really interesting. Even just to open things when you put it on, it's so it gives them an opportunity to make products that are
actually
more accessible.
Right. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I don't know if it's on their website or not, but I've been at conferences before where they had it, and you can put in the whole suit. You can put in like these gloves, and it's really hard to like grip and do things. So handles, stuff like that. Really interesting stuff.
I know like sight is another one for that. I was talking to somebody that their eyesight wasn't that great, and it's only going to get worse in the future. So creating enough, like lighting the kitchen enough, and also creating high contrast with points. So the handles were a black against a white, so that they could easily see bits and pieces. That was quite an interesting one as well for them.
Okay, yeah.
There's lots of things to think about with accessible kitchens.
Yeah, Yeah, it's a whole other world almost.
Mm,
And I
yeah.
know, like I've had clients talk about, and I've talked about them before, like the pull down systems for cabinets. I think those are great for accessibility, if you have
Mm.
wall cabinets, of course. So, all right, let's go to the next one. Let's see if there are any comments. If I miss a comment, just my bad. Oh, yeah. Matthew just had a question. To expand on the single sink, do you prefer undermount or an apron?
Stealing all my questions, Mark.
Okay, forget it. We keep going. Sorry, Matthew. We get back to that one too.
We can, I mean, yeah. I have to
No,
think of some
no,
other ones quickly, I think.
no. Don't. You just keep
It's
what you got.
amazing.
Um, all right, here we go.
Have they seen my sheet with my question?
Well,
Have
we
I
have some smart
posted
viewers.
that?
Phil W asks, "What's the biggest difference between North American kitchens and European kitchens, since you're both on different continents?"
Mm,
I know what you'll say will be one of the things, and that's appliances that don't have like matching doors.
yeah, integrated appliances are
Integrated appliances, yeah.
apparently, something I've learned from YouTube, far more common here because they're a standard thing, whereas it seems
Really?
like they're more of a custom thing out there
Yeah,
in North America. I know you can
definitely
get
more
them.
custom.
I know you can definitely
Yeah,
get them. People have told me that, but it just sounds like they're more expensive. The whole thing is just quite a lot more expensive than it is here.
yeah, yeah. Right down to the appliance, to the
Mm.
actually customizing the door. I
Yeah, all of
think
that stuff's
probably,
standard.
yeah, it's definitely not standard here, right? IKEA probably would be the best at bringing it more and more to the forefront
Right.
because
Yeah, that
they
makes
do
sense.
that.
Yeah. Mm.
But otherwise, and of course, they're like a European um, company overall. Um, I think one of the other differences, I think you can correct me, but size. Like I feel like North
Mm.
American kitchens are massive compared
Yeah.
to, on average, European kitchens. Would you say
Yeah,
that's right?
I mean houses in general. I'd say if we're talking sweeping statements here,
Yeah.
yeah, kitchens in general are bigger. A lot of places, especially London, a lot of those are townhouses, terraced houses, and it's the same kind of thing. They're galley kitchens, unless they were doing a lot of the work I was doing were side returns or extensions on the back to make a bigger space. But
Right.
even then, it's it's still a run in an island rather than the galley, and I think they've got that little bit of extra space. Um, Obviously, the exceptions, you go out to the countryside, you get bigger houses, right, and more space
Mhm.
to do stuff. But a lot of places in here are a lot smaller. But
Yeah.
then I'm sure, like New York, apartments are tiny. So depends where you are within
Does
the
definitely
as
depend.
well.
I think generally, I mean, that's a really general statement, but what
Mm.
about appliance sizes? Is that something you see as being different?
Um, yeah, again, general sweeping statements here. I'd say they're bigger in the states. Like
Yeah.
you'll have, or it's more common, it seems, to
Yeah.
have the bigger. Well, we call them American fridge freezers, but do you call them? I think
Okay.
it's French door, French.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Those, right? We call them American because that's what we're seeing
That's funny.
over in America. They're really popular here as well, but I think even your versions are bigger than our versions.
Right.
And I'll see you do what I would call a 90 centimeter wide wall oven, which is bigger than we normally do a 60 centimeter wall oven. I need to do a
Right.
conversion. Here we go.
I got to learn these conversions. I'm gonna
I
do it too.
know my brain just can't do it now. So a 60 centimeter is like a 24 inch. So a 24-inch wall
Oh
oven,
yeah.
whereas you would have a wider one, right?
Oh, much wider. Well,
Yeah.
30
Well,
inches.
yeah, like a bit again. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Um, yeah,
sorry, everybody. We're just
like almost half as much again, pretty much.
76 centimeter.
Right. So that's not a
It's 30
size at
inch.
all for us.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
What about
and
dishwashers? What's
range
the standard?
cookers and stuff. The standard is 60 centimeters, so 24 inches again.
Okay. Which is the standard here?
Okay. And then
Yeah.
we also do a slim dishwasher, which is 45 centimeters.
Okay. Which is what? Let's see.
Which is 18
Welcome
inches,
to
just over 18
Conversions
inches.
with Michael and Mark. 18
Yes.
inches. We do that, but it's very uncommon.
Right. The
But we
standard
have,
would be 24 inches.
yeah,
But again, in cities and things, smaller kitchens, a slim dishwasher is a great choice. If I'm pushed for space and it's, if it's maybe just a couple that lives there, it's not a big family, slim dishwasher's great. You can fit everything in if it's like just two of you or something. And it just gets that little bit in the
little bit extra. Yeah, it does. It adds up too.
It does. Yeah, it really does.
It does add up. What about trends? What about styles? Like, what would you say is the predominant color choice? In the UK or Europe or wherever. I'm guessing too that the UK and like other parts of Europe are different in terms of what's popular. Is that right?
Yeah.
Or
Oh,
is it
definitely.
pretty general?
No, I'd say it's different. It's different kind of styles and different ways of doing kitchens in the different countries.
Yeah.
Like I think we touched on this last time we had a chat. I know because I had a colleague who was Italian, and I think we were talking about their kitchens aren't fixed, although they're like the kind of kitchens we design when they move house. A lot of time the kitchen moves with them.
Yeah.
Just a whole different kind of different things,
That's
and
so
some of them can be in their families for a long time.
Yeah.
Predominant styles. I mean, neutral colors are still the predominant thing, like whether that's a white or an off-white, grayish, green beige. And then for more, blue's still really popular. Obviously, green is the color of the last few years. But before that, I'd say it was blue, but blue's still popular. I'd say green is kind of coming up where blue was.
Okay.
And
that's
then
pretty
we'll
much the same. Yeah. That's pretty standard, I think.
Wood finishes, natural wood stuff.
Yeah. I think North America gets its cues. My camera keeps going. North America gets its cues from Europe a lot. So those trends would probably be very similar. In my experience, at least, I mean, white's the predominant trend normally, for most people. And that's why you see it everywhere. It's in every big box store. You can go grab it right off the shelf. It's really easy. And so that's one of the reasons why probably it's so popular too. It's just easier. All right. Other than that, I don't know how many, what about like handles and knobs? And do you see more like integrated handles, with the J poles, those kind of things? Or is that something that's...
Yeah, I see a lot of that. They're really popular. And handleless kitchens in general, I think, are probably more popular here than they are over there.
Yeah,
I would guess.
Yeah,
it's difficult to do all of them, so it's hard to know.
Yeah,
it's hard to as one person, I suppose, to kind of be great if there's like a big study of the whole, what was like. I don't know.
I think overall though, handleless kitchens in North America aren't as popular by far.
Yeah, and it depends for me over the years. Like it would depend where I was working, because you get sort of trapped in your kitchen bubble. So when I first moved to London, I worked for it was like an Italian, like bespoke kind of designer Italian kitchen, and they were all handleless. Everything was handleless.
Right.
Everything was slab doors and sleep stuff. Right. A true handleless as well with the rail system and things like that.
Oh wow.
So my world was just handleless kitchens for a while. And fast forward a few years, when I was working for this other company I mentioned, where it's all solid wood, classic shaky kitchens, like that's what I was surrounded in, and I didn't do a handleless kitchen for a couple of years. Like, it's funny, so now I'm not tied to one thing. It's I see all of them.
See everything, yeah. All right, let's go to the next one. How are we doing on our... All right, let's jump back. Okay, this is from, we got that one. Kelly Hahn. Furniture as cabinets, such as splitting up a buffet and a hutch with a gap in between them. This makes the buffet top counter space. So I guess just furniture's cabinets overall. What's your thought there?
I'm afraid you're going to have to translate that one for me, Mark. I've not a buffet
Um,
and a hut.
yeah.
What
So
what's one of those?
how do
Not something I'm
you
personally
explain
familiar
how do you explain a buffet? It's just a furniture piece with
with.
drawers in it. That it's almost like a
Right,
drawer bank, like a dresser drawer bank, but a high one, high-ish. But
right.
it's like a piece of
With a
furniture.
countertop on it, like a side table drawer thing.
Yeah, like something like that. And a hutch would
Okay,
be basically kind of like a pantry,
right.
kind of like a standalone furniture-looking, pantry, not as deep, of course.
Mhm.
A lot of the times,
So
yeah,
like
for displaying
full
china,
on.
like a china cabinet, if that makes sense. Uh,
Oh, okay,
with
right. Yeah,
glass,
a bit
probably
like a
glass in the
dresser.
front.
I suppose we're a dresser here. So
Okay.
yeah, bigger kind of. Okay, so it has a bottom and a top kind of section.
Yeah.
Is
We're
that what it
lost
is?
in
The buffet and the
translation,
hut?
Kelly, but we're getting there.
Is that
Yeah,
what it is?
so
The hut's
top and
just the top
bottom.
bit.
Yeah, what do you think about integrating those types of things into a kitchen?
Um,
Try sideboard. Does that make sense? Is that
yes, yeah, yeah.
okay?
Sideboard will be the bottom. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Thanks, Laura. Um, integrating into the kitchen. I mean, yeah, I mean, not as integrated as in it's like, it probably won't work built into the actual, your other kitchen cabinets. Like there'll be different sizes, different heights, I'm sure, different whatever, different finishes. That'll be difficult. But as an
Right.
object in the room to work with it, oh, definitely,
Yeah.
I think some lovely pieces. Uh,
Yeah, I think it can work too. Uh, Again, it depends.
it depends. Yeah.
Depends on the piece of furniture and whether or not it fits and do you have space for it. But like you
Right.
said,
Yeah.
integrating it into the actual kitchen itself, so it's all fitted, probably
Yeah.
wouldn't work. But
Probably.
as a piece,
Mm.
I think it's good, especially if it's a piece that you're attached to. If it's a
Yeah,
family
definitely.
piece,
Yeah, an antique kind
something
of
like that.
piece. Yeah. Nice.
Here we go.
Nice
A
historic.
credenza. Credenza. I haven't heard that word in a long time. Do you call
Oh,
them that? Credenza?
I personally don't. Maybe I've
Okay.
missed that one. Sideboard, yeah, that's my
Yeah.
language, and I've
Okay.
got that
Sideboard.
one.
All right. Good question. I think it's something that could definitely work in the right situation.
But it's that kind of freestanding kitchen, right? That's a whole other thing as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
It could be a part of one of those for sure,
Yeah. I've
But
seen them modified and put a sink in.
right,
I've seen
yeah,
different
cool.
things like that where you can modify it to make it more usable. Sometimes if you just use the bottom, you can use it as an island, something that maybe pulls in and
Yeah,
pulls out. That
yeah,
could work too. That's where the interesting creativity comes in, for
right.
people, where they do have a piece of furniture that they're like, well, I really want to incorporate that, and that's kind of a fun like process to go through. And some people refinish them or do whatever to kind of upgrade them. Some people leave them
Yeah.
just normal the way they are, but that's a good one. All right, this is from Georgia Blake. All right, here we go. This is a good question. This is a interesting. Okay, I'll just read it.
I'm worried now.
I would I would love some advice on how to find and choose a kitchen designer, the
Yeah.
types of designers and pros and cons of each. So, types of
Okay.
designers I know about are kitchen designers who work for a particular kitchen retailer, like
Right.
IKEA,
Mhm.
fancy designer brands like Blake's London or Duval's,
You've been watching my
uh,
videos.
which she said I found out from
Oh,
Kitchensider.
nice. Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Online designers like me, but
Right.
presumably they're independent designers or smaller retailers. So it would be great to understand the process and costs attached to these options. And I'm very
Mhm.
curious about the costs of a fancy designer, although I doubt I
Mhm.
can afford it. And I'm considering on my online service. But the only thing that makes me pause is that I'm from the UK, and I imagine there are quite a lot of different regulations,
Yeah.
retailers,
Yeah.
conventions, as opposed to the North America. Um, so I would love to hear your thoughts on working with an international designer online. Oh, I should have that on a
It
shirt.
sounds so fancy,
International
don't you?
designer
Yeah.
versus a local designer. Okay, let's just
Right.
talk about the
Okay.
different types for a minute. Maybe pricing that we think would
Hmm.
would be interesting to talk about. Um,
Yeah.
you worked for a fancy designer brand,
I have done. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So
Hmm.
so let's and I have not. I have worked for a retailer, not IKEA, but I have worked for a retailer, and I work on my own. And you also like, do you design kitchens for clients now?
Sort of. So sometimes, yeah, yeah, it's
Okay.
people through old contacts, and I also kind of
Okay.
consult now, I suppose, is what I do. So
Okay.
I might not have done the initial design, but I can help with other bits and
Okay.
pieces. Things like that way.
So could Georgia go to you and get a kitchen design? I guess is what I'm asking.
Not currently. I am
Okay.
thinking about it.
Okay.
I just struggle
You
to
should.
take on everything at the minute.
Okay. Well, that's different, but you should definitely think about it.
Mm.
Okay. What I
Doing
guess.
something like you do, yeah. But
Yeah. Yeah.
at the minute,
Def-
I've got a small group that I work with, and that's
Okay.
it at the moment. Yeah.
All right. So I
Completely off
guess
the thing.
let's go to this is a difficult question. So the types of kitchen designers. So
Mhm,
you work for a kitchen retailer.
mhm.
Um, I have a lot of
That'll be
experience.
free. That should be free.
So that's free. Yep.
That's free.
Um,
Usually, I mean, very rarely would a big company
yeah.
like IKEA
The
or
only
over here, you know, Howden's
the only
where
time it's not free is if you want the design, but you're not going to purchase the product. Then you
interesting,
have. I would never give away a floor plan.
right?
You know,
S-
that's
That's
copywritten work, in
different
my
thing.
opinion.
I
So
mean, that was uh, the mentality of the what did you call it? A fancy design place
right,
where I worked.
fancy.
That was the mentality there. That was different. Um,
Okay,
but for the bigger places over here, I would say the business model, because I've done that as well. I've worked with some of the bigger
okay,
companies. It's it's do the work, give them everything, just as many as you possibly can, kind of thing, hoping that
yeah,
you win, if you like,
right,
some of the ones that you do. So
right,
you'd get floor plans, you get everything for free. You get
yeah,
revisions in the hope that they'd go with you.
yeah. So that in that environment, so like like so yeah. So generally, it's free for the design
Mm,
because, of course, you're just competing with everybody else who's
that's
out
it.
there, the Home Depots or whatever, the big box
Yeah.
stores, and in hopefully that you get that particular job. Also, and everyone's experience is a little different, but in that retail environment, you're also dealing with a whole plethora of other things. You have other things that people are, um, asking you about or demanding your time that aren't kitchen design related, that have to do with other parts of retail sales, um, which is a very distracting experience. So, where I was particularly, like I was on the floor, and
I see. Yeah.
you get somebody looking for the toilet seat. It's like, really,
Right.
like, so you all this pull away all the time. And so, I know in IKEA they do have, these, you can go on the floor and there's people that help you, but there's a room where
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
designer actually works, which is better. So that's free. Fancy designer brands. So what do you have? What's your takeaway on that? What's the cost? What's the pricing for that?
Well, of course, Mark, it will depend.
It will depend.
And I'm sure not all places are the same. Where it was where I worked, we would kind of qualify them first, whether it was myself or somebody else, to see if they were really serious, kind of thing. Because
Right.
where I was incredibly busy, and so just my time was quite valuable in that place.
Right.
But say they kind of gave the details, sound like a good fit or whatever. We would offer we got an initial consultation, which would be completely free. So they would bring in as much detail as they had, if it was architect plans or rough plans or whatever. I would sit down with them. Well, if they hadn't already seen everything, I'd kind of quickly show them the stuff, but hopefully they'd already been in at that point and seen
Right.
and this is where I would hand draw live in front of them to scale an initial idea based on what we talked about
Wow.
um, for their kitchen. right? And then I would price it up pretty accurately, but as a guide price in the moment. I normally say, like, if you want to just give me 5 minutes to price it, you can have a walk around. And I'd be like,
Right.
but I would do all of that.
Crunching
Usually
numbers.
take, between an hour and a half to 2 hours, this initial consultation where I'd give them, they can ask me anything, and I would give them a good design as a start point. Obviously, you tweak it, you learn, things change.
Right.
Give them a good idea of what they could do and how much it would cost, and that was free.
Right.
They'd go away and have to think about it. I wouldn't give them any pictures. They couldn't take the plan away. They couldn't take, that was all mine. I kept the folder with everything.
Right.
If they wanted it. If they wanted to then go to the next stage, which would be, I'd go out and measure full design work, proper itemized work, the works. I put together, this was a very fancy company, put together this lovely hardback book presentation of their kitchen,
Oh, wow.
sketch drawing. It was a lot. It was full on. They had to pay £350 for that service, but if they went ahead with the kitchen, that came off the price of the kitchen.
Okay.
But for me to do the work, it was £350 the company would charge. So
Wow.
I would imagine
I think that's cheap.
It's a similar vibe. It was cheap. I think it was cheap. That was one of their things. They wanted a little bit of a competitive edge, but I think they still needed to justify the work. There was a lot of work that went into those things.
Yeah. Inexpensive, I should say, not cheap.
Right. So depending on the company, the fancy company, I would imagine they would offer a similar thing. You might get a free initial chat, or you might have to pay.
Yeah.
At some point, I would assume there'd be some sort of commitment for their time.
Yeah. I mean, I know the reason it's inexpensive and the reason it's free in retailers is because they're making their margin on the sale of cabinets.
Right.
They're not making any margin off of you. You're doing the service in order to sell something that they can make money with.
Mm-hmm.
And that little bit of of charge is really quite reasonable.
That charge is there to whittle out the time
Yeah.
wasters, if you like. No,
Right.
sounds pretty bad.
That's
from
right.
their
Yeah.
point of view.
Yeah. That's just the cost
so
of business.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just different model.
Yeah. And it's important to understand that they're getting you on the cabinet sale.
Right.
The markup on that is normally pretty good. So, and then when it comes to independent designers like myself and I don't have anything to sell. So like my charge is basically $500 US. And then that gives you the floor plan and that gives you the measurements and all the iterations of getting, all that stuff figured out and just the consultation and help that goes along with that. But after that, like I don't have a cabinet to sell. I'm not trying to sell cabinets. So you can take that anywhere you want and and go the next step. So that's kind of the difference. So then her next kind of part of that is just, okay, so that's the various costs. What do you think? Like everybody, like it does depend. This definitely does depend. Working with someone online is a totally different experience than working with someone in person. And, those are two different things. If you are going to a particular retailer or place where you want to buy their cabinets, then you should just probably go with their designer. You can go through that process because they know their product and they normally are going to design around that product. Whereas if you come to me, I'm just going to be like, I can design you anything. It might not work with where you're going necessarily.
Right.
What are your thoughts on that?
I can see the pros and cons. I mean, always go check out the product. Like, don't buy the product without seeing it online, kind of thing.
Yeah.
When it comes to designs, I think if you're going for the more like IKEA-esque places, right, the bigger sheds or whatever, the bigger places. I don't mean this in a bad way, but you really roll the dice, I think, on what quality designer you get, because they've got branches up and down the country, full of people. Staff turnover can be quite high for certain ones here in the UK, at least I know.
Yeah.
How experienced are they? A lot of them are very it's all target driven, sales focused.
Yeah.
They just want to sell you the kitchen. They're not
Yeah.
designers. They're
No.
salespeople.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at those kind of kitchens, which can be great, like you can get great deals. They do loads of stuff. You know, if you're smart with your designing, you can create all kinds of things.
Yeah.
Then you know, I would say it pays to talk to somebody like you, Mark. You know, doesn't matter if you're online, does it? Right? Your knowledge and expertise trumps that.
Yeah.
They're going to take
valuable.
that and then go buy it. It's fine, right?
Yeah.
The salesperson can ring it up. Easy sale for them, but at least they've got
Very
it designed properly, right? That's the thing. And it's not to say you know they're not good designers. Of course, there's loads of good designers tucked in these places everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I mean, obviously, this is, you know, part of my income. However, if it's not the right fit, it's not the right fit, and that's fine too.
Yeah.
But what I can do, or what you could do potentially, if you were to think about doing this, is you just have the opportunity of designing like that space, you know, a whole bunch of different ways. You're not taken away by all this other stuff that's happening. You can really concentrate on it. I find that's the real value, is, you know, sifting through all the different iterations that in a store setting, in a retail setting, it's difficult because the designer, the salesperson, is just like, you know, they're trying to get through, like they're trying to get onto the next one, like get you through the queue here.
They can, very much do that in certain places.
Yeah, depending on where you're at. So
how you get it.
Yeah. So hit or miss. And as far as, you know, if you want somebody, if you're in the UK and you wanted to use me, like, you know, I've done a few in overseas, but I don't think there's that much of a difference that it's much to worry about. I can convert everything to centimeters and millimeters on my program, so it's not, you know, it's not a big deal. But so, you know, Gloria, if you want to, or Georgia, sorry, if you want to reach out, that's cool. But otherwise, like, you know, it's also good to, if you're more inclined to meet with, you know, a particular designer and you get a good feel about them and they're providing value for you, then definitely go that way. So,
and also I would say go to a couple.
Yeah.
Like that's always my advice. Don't just, you know, if you're looking to get a kitchen, go to a few kitchen showrooms, get a few designers to look at it, because people work different. You'll buy with somebody, somebody will just click and figure it out, and you're like, why didn't anybody else see that?
Right. The more the better. Like,
get some ideas, especially if they're free.
Right. Yeah. Mine's not going to be free.
But exactly. If you want the good stuff.
At the same, well, maybe. Hopefully, it's a learning experience. And she had another question. Let's see here. Okay, so she's thinking about splitting the renovation into 2 parts, or into more parts, more than 1 part. What do you think? So, doing the cabinets and then the lighting, then the countertops and the backsplash, is that sensible? What if I decide to replace my separate oven and hob with an all-in-one range later on down the line? Will I have to rip out everything and start again? So what's the pros and cons of doing these things in stages? And I guess if you're forced to, if you have to, what comes first? What's number one?
That's tricky. I thought she meant like, as in like she's doing the whole house and stage, like do the bathroom first, then the kitchen. But obviously, I would say doing the stage. The kitchen is difficult, right? Do that. You're just prolonging the pain.
Yeah.
Thing. You kind of, if you're doing it, you want to just get it done, I would say.
Because if you're going to do the cabinets first, you automatically have to do your countertops.
Right.
So those two things come together.
As well. If you want under cabinet lights or anything kind of built in, that needs to be done before the cabinet. That's your first fix. You know, you need to be topping up walls and thinking of that. You can't do that after your cabinet.
Yeah.
Surface mounting, I guess, and stuff. But, or if it's just changing a light fitting and stuff. It depends what you're doing, right?
Right. I think if it's a whole new reno, I mean, it all has to happen kind of cohesively. I guess maybe you could do the kitchen and put a less expensive countertop on and replace that later.
But you're just, again, like I say, you're just prolonging that pain of not having a working kitchen, aren't you? Or a fully working kitchen.
you could definitely do the backsplash later. That's my scenario right now in my own kitchen. Is that
Oh yeah, that's easy. That's a good.
yeah
Yeah, wait for that.
yeah
You can have the
so,
whole kitchen can be
yeah
in and running. You don't need a backsplash.
yeah.
That's enough. That's
So
yeah, that's good.
a lot of these things are cohesive units,
Yeah.
but so I would say it's probably not sensible to think of it in terms of like you're going to do this
Mm,
in a whole lot of stages, like you said, just bite the bullet and go for all at once. But if you're forced
yeah.
to because of budget or whatever, you could put like I said, a less expensive countertop. Um, don't do the
Don't forget
backsplash.
if you've got to properly remove that countertop, you could damage everything in the process, though,
Right.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Say
There's a
you've
lot to
got
think about there.
yeah.
And then
There
of
is a
course, if you
process.
just yeah, no, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I was going to say there is a process kind of in terms of having a kitchen installed. What comes first? Usually, how
Right.
that kind of
Yeah.
process works, if that's what it means.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And then of course you're saying like if I want to replace my oven and hob later with one thing, I'll have to rip everything out. Well, that's
yeah. Unfortunately, you will have to
yeah,
rip everything out. Yeah,
you
that'll
will.
be a
So
redesign. Yeah.
you'd have to plan that one out ahead. So
Mm,
you'd definitely have to think about that. And then she was
definitely.
wondering what's the pros and cons of an all-in-one oven, uh, one range versus a separate stovetop and oven.
You're killing me.
Okay, forget it. We'll get on to that one. We'll keep going. All right. That was the last one. That
Maybe
was the
mine
last
was
one.
super obvious. I think maybe because everybody's asking them. Fine, fine.
It's okay.
We'll
It's okay.
answer these in a minute.
We'll get to those ones later. It's all good. Patty made it. Hey, you made it. Awesome. Thanks for being here. Everyone, if I've been out of the chat here for a minute, but I see a few people here. Awesome that you're on again. Thanks for joining us on the live stream. Michael and I are just chatting about some different questions that you hopefully have sent in. And if you do have some questions that you want us to talk about or ideas, just throw them in. But what we planned on doing was having just kind of a rapid fire, questions. So I have some questions. I'm going to ask Michael. He has some he's going to ask me, though I know what 3 of them are already just because of what happened here. So we'll see how that goes. And then if you're watching this in replay at this moment, make sure at the end of the video, go over to Michael's channel, check out his content. Michael, I really appreciate your content because you really put things in, like, it's very easy to understand. And I find it very detailed. Like I learn a lot from it. So I just encourage everyone to go check it out and watch his videos. I always suggest that if you like the content, to subscribe. If you're not going to go back and watch more videos, just watch the videos. Don't worry about subscribing. We only want subscribers who are active fans. So otherwise it'll tank our channels, basically. But go over there, check out his stuff. I know you'll like it because it's really valuable. And I do my best not to steal from you. Everyone else is open game, but you and Jeff, I try not to steal from. So
there's always going to be some crossover, right? But, yeah.
Oh, it totally is. It's kitchens. There's only so many things that we can talk about. So it's all good. All right, let's. You want to go first? You want me to go first? What's your thought?
Well, shall I ask mine to you, seeing as you know 3 of them already, maybe?
Well, we'll go one at a time. You ask one, I'll ask one.
Okay, yeah, that's cool.
Let's do that.
Bring my little list up. Do you want me to ask first? Yeah.
Go ahead. Yep.
So all of mine are either ors.
Okay.
So
and do you want me to explain my choice?
Yeah. I mean, kind of. Okay. I suppose a gut reaction and maybe a little bit why, right?
All right, I'm ready.
So it's kind of come up, but gas or induction?
Electric.
Yeah.
Gas or induction. Here's the problem. I don't have experience personally with either because where I live, there's very little gas.
Right.
Very little. And induction, there's hardly any. That's not really something that's that popular either.
So do you have
everything's electric.
You've got like a ceramic top then?
Yeah.
Right.
That's probably the most. However, probably induction. Only because I I think the tech, I think it's cool. I think the fact that you can integrate it into a stone top, into a dectin or even some kind of porcelain top. I think that's really, really interesting.
The hidden
So I
ones.
like, yeah,
Yeah, they're cool.
so
I've not
so
done one
so
yet. I want
cool.
to do.
No, yeah, I haven't done one either. I've seen them and they look really, really interesting. So
Yeah.
gas, of course, I hear obviously great things about gas, but I think it's dirtier, generally speaking. So I'm gonna go with induction on that one.
Yeah.
I just think it's cool that you can like touch the thing and it doesn't burn your hand, but it boils your eggs. Like that's amazing.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be more and more what's popular, especially in my area where there's not a lot of gas. Now is in other parts of the country, but
Yeah. Yeah.
Barbara
Cool.
says she loves her new induction range. So
Yeah.
there you go. We might not have green kitchens in common, Barbara, but I'm going to go. I'm going to side with you on the induction range. Okay.
Nice.
Not the best answer from me, but
Cool.
I wish I had more experience with them.
It's one
Okay,
that
this
really
is
divides people that.
does it? Yeah, where you're at?
And the comment
Interesting.
section.
Oh wow. That's good. You need some polarizing stuff. That's what helps.
Lots of engagement.
All right. If you personally, if you could change one thing about your kitchen right now, what would it be? What's the one thing you'd change?
Well, we've got a gas hob, so I mean, I would go induction. I'd say my appliances maybe they
Your
all need
appliance?
updates. All the appliances.
Okay.
Yeah. Appliances for now.
So you have gas. You would go with an induction.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah. I've had induction before. I much prefer it.
Okay.
Where we are right now, it's gas.
Right. That's good to know because
needs doing.
you're in the know. So.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead.
I'm team induction, Mark. Team induction.
Okay. Good. I'm with you on that.
Yeah. It's good. So this is we're talking about cabinet finishes here. Gloss or matte?
Matte. Yeah, I just gloss is nice, but I don't want to see myself in my cabinet. And I don't want to see every fingerprint with every reflection of light. So I definitely love a satin, matte satin finish, as opposed to high gloss.
Agreed.
In the right setting, it looks nice, ultra modern, but other than that, no. Can you imagine a shaker kitchen with high gloss?
Yeah.
That would be horrific.
I don't think I've ever seen one. Because
Have you ever seen one?
Ones that aren't like.
I've never seen one.
Shaker-esque that are, they're not painted, they're not sort of wood, they're wrapped doors and things. But I don't know.
Wrapped, yeah.
Yeah.
Usually you're getting high gloss with a thermoplastic, so.
That's it. Yeah, I'm thinking more of like if it's a slab door kitchen.
Yeah.
Matte or gloss. What do you think?
Still matte, even in a slab door. Yeah, matte. I love a matte finish, as opposed to high gloss.
2 for 2, Mark.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Good. All right, here you go. What do you think is the best place to spend money in a kitchen renovation? Of all the things that are involved in that, where you spend money, where's the best money spent, I guess? Where's the most value? What are you in the most value from in a kitchen renovation?
Probably the fit. Yeah.
Yeah.
The installation.
Good one. That's interesting you say that.
I've said this for years. You can have, it's probably in one of my articles, I write this kind of pretty much word for word. You can have like a relatively inexpensive, don't have to use the word cheap, an inexpensive kind of kitchen fitted well will outlast and outperform and just look better than potentially an expensive kitchen that's just fitted poorly. Like stuff will drop from that. Little things will niggle you, or will me at least. Like you start to notice things like, a good fitter, a good fit team, worth it.
That's a really good answer. Yeah, that is probably what I would say.
It might not be as flashy as your countertops or your appliances, but
no, it's really
it's going to mean nothing if it will just falls apart.
I agree. Good one. All right, go ahead.
So along the kind of similar vein as the last one, but handles or handleless.
Handled, like doors with handles?
Yeah. So if you could have a kitchen tomorrow, a new kitchen, would you want to go for a handleless kitchen or stick with handles?
I so want to be trendy, but I'm not. So I'm gonna say handles.
You know who you are?
Probably because that's what I'm used to,
Right.
and
Okay.
I don't have an issue with it. I like the idea of handleless doors, but yeah, I'd go with handles. I wish I was cooler.
Is it cooler to go handleless, do you think?
Yeah.
Necessarily cool. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's cooler and more trendy and definitely just more forward thinking than
Right.
handles. But it's yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I'll go handles. All right. If you could design a kitchen for anyone, who would it be?
Wow.
Anyone at all?
That's something.
Hard one?
Yeah, it's a really hard one because I mean I
Yeah.
don't really know. Like, just is it somebody that I just want to meet, or is it?
Yeah, sure. Why not? I mean, you get to meet
Like,
them. You'd have the opportunity to meet them because you're designing their kitchen. So,
right?
who,
Or is it?
if you were
Yeah,
anyone.
somebody that wants to is willing to try some cool stuff, right? Wants to do like the invisible induction hob in their island. Wants to try some nice surfaces, like we were talking earlier about maybe some natural countertops. I'd love to do some limestone, some really nice handleless kitchen designs, some timber and things like that. Somebody
All
that's
right.
just willing to do something like that, I suppose. Like really, really push it and try some cool stuff.
So if
Who
Bono
would you
called
do?
and was like, "Hey, I want you to help me
Yeah,
with my
if Bono's
kitchen,"
into that, sure.
you'd be okay with
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
All right. It's good to know. Yeah.
Have you got somebody? That's a good one. Is there anybody that you do?
Um, I'm not like starstruck,
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't
you
think I've
know?
got anybody that I'm like desperate
Yeah,
to
like
meet.
there's nobody that I'm like, ooh, like however,
Mm,
like I think it'd be cool to um I think like maybe
that'd be
Elon Musk
interesting.
would be a neat one. Um It'd be probably pretty challenging.
Mm.
But otherwise, I think just Bono. Just Bono could call and just be like, "Hey, we're gonna do a kitchen." I'd be all right
Nice.
with that. So it'd be kind of fun. But yeah, again, like someone who's like willing to go through something crazy, maybe. I don't know. Interesting
Yeah, I think
question though.
just something, just a bunch of stuff I want to do that I've not had the opportunity to do.
All right, hit me up.
Ready? Again, I think we touched on this one, the farmhouse or undermount thing.
Hmm. I like an apron sink,
Yeah.
farmhouse sink. Yeah, I'm not scared of the word farmhouse. So I think I like the look of it. It doesn't have to be white. It can be in a stainless or some kind of like other type of metal finish. I like a farmhouse, and essentially it is undermounted as well.
I guess,
Generally,
yeah. I suppose that
they are
style thing.
undermounted, so you can get
Yeah.
them kind of both styles. But I've seen a lot of them that are undermounted. So I will say farmhouse.
Cool.
Yeah, of course it has to be one large single. Other than
Right.
that,
Of course.
undermount or not undermount, um, doesn't really matter. But I like the look of a farmhouse.
Cool.
Yeah, but I'm not necessarily like into farmhouse style,
Mhm.
though I don't have anything wrong with it either. But I like those. I just like those apron. I think they look cool. So that's what I'm saying. What about you?
Undermount.
Yeah, okay. I knew we
So
could. I know.
you can
I
tell
knew
my
there'd be
style. This is where
some
we've separated now.
divergence. All right, that's all right. Okay, what is the worst kitchen trend right now? Like, of current trends that you see, out there, what's the worst one? in terms of like not I don't mean like even like a color, but something that's probably not going to last the test of time, maybe.
My mind's going blank now. I'm just like, what are the kitchen trends? Gosh, you're stumping me here, Mark.
They recirculate. The kitchen trends
They
recirculate. There's
do.
not a lot of really like what you can call like super new ideas. Like they sort of like recirculate. Mine is right now sconces.
Right.
And to say it's the worst trend is probably harsh, but I just don't
Yeah,
think
yeah.
it's the trend that's going to last.
I suppose what this thing's kind of, I've seen it in Nick's videos, more, I suppose, interior trend kind of coming up at the minute is maximalism.
Oh yeah.
That just hurts me. I can't deal with that. Sorry if anybody's into it, like that's great. You can, that's your thing, and you've got lots
Yeah.
of items that you love and you want to display. That's really cool. It's just not me. So when it's something's too busy, too much stuff, overcrowded, lots of colors,
Too much.
too much for me. So I guess
Okay.
maximalism is if that's coming into the kitchen.
Okay. Good to know. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah.
All right. What's next?
Last one from me, and I think this is touched on again, getting all the questions. So standalone, what I call a range cooker, I think we talked about this before, or separate hob or cooktop and ovens. So like all in one or separate with the cooking.
Okay. Without saying it depends, because it does, on the space of your kitchen, how much room you have to devote to having two, wide sections of space that you can have, and considering your ventilation options and where things can go. I like the idea of a wall oven because of its usability. And if you have the space for one, that's probably a good idea. I like the idea of a range because you don't, you get that extra space that you be, devoting to that cabinet, that appliance, freed up for something else. So, so it kind of depends. But overall, I think accessibility wise, it's probably better to have something that's, at waist level when you're dealing with that. Now, um, for like us, like for me personally, in my kitchen, I have like a dual, like it's a range, but it has two ovens.
Right.
So it has that top small one,
Mm-hmm.
and then it has the larger one on the bottom. And I find that we use the small one almost exclusively for almost everything, and it's not that low that it's a
That
problem.
is right.
But
Okay.
if you have mobility issues, or again, like you're planning on a kitchen for later down the line, probably that would be the best solution. So
Yeah.
does that make
So
sense?
you could have like two, so it could be a single wall oven with a combi above it or something to kind of match
Right.
the oven
Right. Yeah.
space if you like.
Yeah.
But they're just keeping them separate.
So it's in its space and design specific. Like if you don't have the room for it, you don't have the room for it. If you don't have the room for those two appliances, then it's not going to be the right choice. And you know that that space that you need for that wall oven could be countertop and storage and whatnot, or pantry, or something like that. So it definitely is, kind of related to the actual, footprint of
Yeah.
the kitchen in a way. But if you could just pick one or the other, probably going with an oven.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
make sense?
Yeah. It depends.
Okay, I got a couple more. Here we go. These will be a little quicker.
Cool.
Every kitchen should have.
Every kitchen should have lots of things. The first thing that popped into my head, weirdly, was enough clear countertop space. That was the first thing
Okay.
that popped into my head. But
Okay.
so many things a good kitchen.
Every kitchen, you need good counter
Yeah,
space.
good
Okay.
countertop space, amongst
All
other
right.
things. Yeah, good
Okay.
workflow, good all of that. But yeah,
All
functionality.
right. My favorite countertop is.
Ooh, currently, I'm really digging limestone. I've
Ah,
said it, Mark. I've said it.
okay. Natural stone, though, it's good.
Natural stones in general,
Limestone.
right? Limestone
Yeah.
just being one option.
Okay.
Um,
All right. And
yeah.
then my favorite kitchen trend right now. My favorite kitchen trend that you see happening right now.
That natural materials are in. Yeah, big fan of wood. Um, Anything to kind of soften it up like that. But like how wood is coming really back in a big way, I think. I do like
Cool.
that. Yeah, more natural materials, I think.
Awesome.
Hence the
All right.
natural countertops as well. Like
Yeah.
digging that.
What's your thought on butcher block?
Um, it looks lovely, and I've done lots in the past. I think you've got to be aware, like with all countertops, right? You've got to be aware of the pitfalls, and with what I'd call wooden worktops or timber worktops, it's it's the sink. Like that's the danger area.
Yeah.
It's where
Okay.
it sits in there, goes moldy, black,
Yeah.
watermark. So you've got to be on
Yeah.
top of drying it and maintaining it, oiling it
Yeah.
periodically.
There's a
If
lot to
you're
it.
Yeah, it looks lovely though. Don't get me wrong. It's
Yeah.
like real warm, real
Right.
soft,
Yeah.
like in the right spot. Maybe a lot of the time I used to do like a butcher block or wooden worktop as the breakfast bar section on an island, right? So that would be a
Yeah.
bit softer for people to sit at. It introduces another texture, but it's not the main workhorse countertop. You don't have to be super worried if you've got say like a quartz and then everywhere else it's a
Right.
bit hardier. Yeah, but I
I
like
agree.
it. You've got to be aware, right?
Sanjeev, he's a kitchen designer, by the way.
Cool.
Does the installer have the special skills for installing handleless cabinets? Is there a
Um,
difference?
There is, yeah, and if it's a true handleless kitchen, there are some things that are different, and unless you've done one, you're going to kind of stare at it blankly for a little bit. I remember
Oh yeah.
this Italian kitchen company that we did all of those. We had a new fitter on board, and really good fitter that had done loads of kitchens, hadn't done handleless, and I remember having to
Yeah.
go down a couple of times the first week of the fit and explain how it all worked with the handleless rail system and what he's got to do and space it out, how to fit that properly.
Right.
Because if you
Okay.
haven't done it is a bit different. If it's a J-pull handle, whether the handle's in the door itself
Right.
or a cutout handle, then
Yeah.
it's the same, right? There's no real
That's the same. Yeah.
difference.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay.
true handleless. There are a couple of things you need to just be aware of. A
Cool.
good
Good.
fitter will
Good.
pick it up. Like,
Yeah.
figure
Which
it out
is where
in
your
no
money should
time.
go.
Exactly. Yeah.
Matthew's asking, how about lighting? Are you a fan of just recessed lighting, or is it good to include something like a statement pendant or two? What do you think?
Yeah, it depends on your design. If a pendant makes sense, right? If you've got an island or a peninsula, definitely. I think something lower down. I did a whole video on lighting, Mark.
Yep. I know. Seen it.
I talked about this. Something that's a bit lower down because it's essentially a task area that doesn't have wall cabinets, so you can't have under
Right.
cabinet lighting to help illuminate that task area.
Yep.
The ceiling lights are there for ambient lighting. I think a good pendant light, can be really helpful, and they can look great. It could be a way to introduce style.
Yeah.
Style
I mean, I guess overall, the more light, the better. So whatever you can
right.
throw in there, and I mean,
Control it in layers. That's the thing.
yeah,
Don't have a
yeah,
switch that just everything comes on at once.
yeah,
Yeah,
all
more
one
than
thing.
I think so. Yeah.
Laura was asking about expanding on limestone. Why
I mean,
limestone?
it's
Why?
why limestone. I think it looks
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Okay.
There are different ones, obviously, that kind of look
Yeah.
different. I particularly love the kind of like warmer, grey beige ones. You can get ones that still have like fossils in them. I just think it's a lovely looking material. Along a similar vein that marble, natural
Yep.
stone looks. You can get some gorgeous looking marbles. It just has similar pitfalls, right? You've got to kind of be aware it's not a quartz or a Decton, but it's still really durable, and as long as you're everything, you've got to be aware and you've got to treat it right. Don't abuse it.
Yeah.
But if you can do
Is
that,
it?
because you don't have to worry about that stuff. Sure.
Is it something that's really trending in your area particularly? Like, is it hot now, or is it just you particularly just like it, or
Just me particularly, I think it's one
okay,
of those ones that if I had the dream client, you know,
okay,
right, we'd be looking at some lovely natural
okay.
stones. Yeah. No,
JL is
over
asking
here it's still, quartz is the biggie.
still
Quartz is still the big hitter. Yeah,
same here.
and
Maybe describe your ideal client. We kind of talked about that.
yeah, I suppose,
Um,
yeah.
my ideal client is just they just agree with everything I say.
First design, right? Not to
First
advertise on the first
design is
try.
the best design.
Yeah,
Yeah. Um, but really, the ideal client is someone who is, um, in not leaving it in the designer's hands.
yeah, that's a good
And
point. Yeah,
my video coming up, I'm talking about this, but on Saturday, is that as a designer, and you'd have this experience, you're not doing one project. You might be doing 5 or 6 projects, and you also have a life, and you have all the stuff that goes with that, and you have all this exterior things that are happening. And so if the client is just leaving it in your hands, what ends up happening is they later on when the dust settles, they realize that they they don't like this, or they wish they had done that, or this didn't get covered. And so honestly, like having a client who's like, you know, goes through the process of knowing what they want and thinking
right. Yeah,
through how they're going to use their kitchen, and that's really valuable. not
yeah,
not
definitely.
particularly like if it gets overboard, it's like, oh no. But honestly, for them, it's the most valuable thing they can do is really take the lead and use the designer as like just a tool to get you there, not not to be the one that gives you the kitchen and you just have to like it.
Right.
If that makes
Yeah,
sense. It's
yeah,
putting
definitely.
more of the onus on the client, where they understand that it's their money, it's their kitchen, and it has to work for them. Doesn't have to work
Hmm.
for me. So
So, yeah, somebody that's excited about it really helps,
yeah,
right? I think that's.
yeah. Good question though.
Hmm.
But yeah, just otherwise, just someone who doesn't ask any questions either. It's like, here, just
Either
take it,
end.
go. Yeah. Couple more, and then we'll call it. Let's see. Can we expand on lines on split? Let's see. Oh, does limestone require sealing?
Yeah, yeah,
It's natural. So
yeah.
yeah. Um, what countertop stains the most? What stains the least? That's a good question.
Yeah, what stains the most?
I would say like probably untreated marble
Yeah,
would stain pretty horribly.
yeah. Like I said
Um,
before, butcher block, you've got to be careful if you're using any oil. That gets,
yeah,
if it's not been
butcher
steamed
block. Yeah,
recently, you know.
I'd say the most stain resistant would be ultra compact, like Dectin or Neolith or
Yeah,
porcelain stone.
mhm,
That'd be the most resistant. Quartz is
yeah.
pretty much on par
Pretty good. Yeah.
with it.
There's some
So
heavy things, turmeric,
yeah,
anything to do
turmeric.
with
Yeah,
acidic. You get quartz, but
yeah. I'd say if you're worried about like really tough stains, like a Dectin or something like that,
yeah.
because they don't stain at all. I've tried. All right. Here we go. No corner, no OTO, no corner cabinets. That's that's definitely a design decision.
I'm talking about corners in my one on tomorrow. All right,
Oh, are
I
you?
mentioned corners brief. Yeah, it's part of it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. What are your thoughts? What do you think about corner cabinets overall?
Giving away the video here.
Oh, okay. No, no,
Basically,
no. We'll wait.
no, no, no. It's just things to think about, right? Like, I think the first thing I say is like, do you have to have them? Like, can you design the kitchen in a way that you avoid them?
Right.
Because they're tricky, right? And if you have to
Yeah.
have them, think about what type you're having, like L shape, blind corner. Like, do you find one
Yeah.
more useful than the other? Then think about mechanism, think about how it's done,
Yeah. That's good
and
advice.
utilizing it in the best way you can for it to play out. And what you like.
I agree. Love you both. Cool. Hope new
Thank you.
collaboration video anytime soon. Yeah, I'm up for that. I'd love
Yeah,
to do that. It'd be
always.
fun. Yeah. So that's a good idea. Jeff is saying that stainless steel, no stain. Yeah, stainless.
So yeah, that's
Mm,
I think
not super popular where I'm
no, I
at.
think I've done two in my time.
Yeah, just the
And
fabrication issue. Like the reason it wasn't popular for me personally, because in a retail setting, you want to sell everything. And if you need to
right,
go to a separate fabricator that's local or whatever to do that, normally you wouldn't do it. So you'd sell them what you have to sell. You wouldn't
yeah,
put them somewhere else. So definitely, but definitely a good option. But
mm.
it's one of those countertop choices I think like you really need
You gotta
to
love that.
love.
Yeah,
Yeah. Same with like butcher block, I guess. I mean, not that you have to love everything that you pick, but that seems to be one that you really need to be committed to, I
quite a
think.
strong look, I think, stainless steel, right?
Yeah.
It can suddenly turn very industrial.
Yeah. And if that's what you're into, that's cool. I mean,
Yeah,
there's a
that's
reason
cool. Yeah,
it's used and it is what it is. It's very, very durable and sanitary
yeah,
um, product. So all right. I think that's pretty much all. And if I missed you out there, I do apologize, but I really do appreciate everyone who's joining. We're gonna call it. So I might just stay on for a few minutes, but we'll end the video here, and then we can chat before we go. We can talk about an upcoming collaboration. That would be very
nice.
fun for us to do. And so everyone else who's watching, thanks so much for joining. This was a really great. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed our chat. Go through the replay, and I'll try to put some chapters in the replay to just hit some of the points of the video because it's kind of a long one. And so yeah, really appreciate everyone coming on, Michael. I appreciate you being here and being part of this live stream because
Oh, thanks.
it's great just to get other people's opinions and thoughts and ideas, and I think that's valuable in every arena. And this is a really great community. A lot
Yeah,
of
yeah, really.
input from people. So really
Yeah,
cool. We'll definitely do this again in the future coming up, and because I think it's just fun to chat about kitchen stuff and in
fun to
general, and
chat.
it's easy to talk about. I find at least anyway, because you just when you have experience in it, you talk out of that
Yeah,
experience. So pretty cool. So everyone, appreciate it. Definitely check out Michael's channel. Like I said, I'll put a link in the description below, and there'll be a video on the screen, one of his videos that I will encourage you to go check out when you can, as soon as you're finished watching this, if you're watching this in replay. And until we see you on the next live stream, love you all. Thank you so much for being here. Bye-bye.
thanks.